Today, we are going to talk about UX designers in the context of the company they have to work with. When you're starting, it's difficult to find how they work in the company. So for me, it is a big surprise when I get in a company and the amount of people I will have to work together with. So this is a little bit of those information to help people who are getting started with UX design. These are extracted from the course I created. So we will imagine a medium-sized software company, and I generalize into 5 different groups. On the left hand are the people who really care about selling the products. So this is not about sales or marketing. These are about the mindset. So the people who are trying to build a business. So business development, business analysts, sales, communication, marketing, and even graphic designers and people who create landing pages are most of the time part of this team. And on the right hand side are the people who are going to build the product. So they oftentimes focus a lot on product rather than interacting with the actual buyers or customers or audience. So these are without a doubt the engineers and their related people. So testers, solution architects, and the product designers, UX designers, UI designers, they will be in this team that are working together with the engineers. And in the middle are the people who overlap with both left and right side a little bit. So these are the people who mediate the entire product line. So these will include project managers, product managers, HR and people managers, etc. Very generalized for a bit better understanding. Oftentimes, because the name says UX designer, product designer, so because of the people often think they are designers and they are part of this commercial team, and a lot of earlier companies try to put these UX designers into this kind of team. Most likely what you're working on is more related to the right side, the building part of the product. Now let's think about the process you will have to do. So this is also very generalized, so it's not the same for every company, but in general it will often work like this. You will often get a task. It will not be directly from the business management. Oftentimes it would be through managers. So you will receive a task and then you will do your UX design magic. And then when you finish it, you will tell the managers and the managers will tell to the business, and the business will give feedback and the manager will get back and give feedback to you. And if you finish the final product, you will also involve in communicating with the commercial team and the engineers, and also back and forth between the managers and business. So it is a lot of communication. Oftentimes, these are the points where feedbacks are likely to come and where you will have to explain, take the feedback and change it back. Over time, there is a concern among UX designers who just started. So if everybody is giving feedback and if I have to change what they want, where is my input? Does it not matter at all? So here we can understand about that a little bit. So first thing, everybody has to give feedback. You also need to take them and process them. So there is actually a scenario where you can influence the final decision of the product, but you will have to know how to become very good at these 3 things. So the first one is about mindset. This is actually a very important thing that will enable you to influence the final design decisions. If you just think only in your design bubble and do not care about what other people think and how they work and how your product fits in the grand scheme of things together, if you do not think like that, your product will be very limiting and other people will find it very difficult to communicate with you. So that is also one of the reasons why your decisions cannot make it to the final, or you cannot get the final say in your product. And another thing, because of the name, oftentimes people think UX designers are essentially designers. You will also mostly work on designs. You use design software. They think you are designers. It is actually a small part compared to the communication, convincing, brainstorming, negotiating, and presenting, all of those things combined. You will have to spend most of your time doing communication rather than building the product, because in a company, the UX designer's job nature is to talk with a lot of people. And the final one, you will have to build your confidence. What I mean is, when you become a senior, you are going to get ideas that are abstract, ambiguous, and that don't have any direct meaning. You will have to explore and think in order to get a step-by-step process of what to do. So when you can easily tackle these kind of ambiguous ideas, you have gained a certain level of maturity people can trust. So that is when these people will start to rely on you. When you combine these three ideas, the mindset, the communication, and if you have the right confidence, people will slowly start to rely on you to make decisions on their behalf. They will still give feedbacks and their perspective, but most of the time they trust your gut feeling because you have shown you have the mindset, you know how to communicate, and you have the confidence. So that is how these UX designers, product designers can influence the product in a company. So finally, I will just go through a little bit about how UX designers in different size of companies have to work. So in a startup scenario, we will look from the lens of a job scope, what is the mentality, so what is the growth potential, and what is the satisfaction. The startup, so if you are a UX designer working at a startup, your job scope is going to be crazy. So you are expected to do everything the founders and engineers can do, and your mentality, you do not care about salary that much. It is more about experience, and growth potential is pretty good in the startup environment, and satisfaction is often very high. You get to decide the direction of the app. It's very stressful, but your impact is visible. So most people really like it. Personally, I also like these kind of scenarios. If you are working in a small and medium company or agencies, the job scope is more oftentimes very clear. So you will have a typical UX design job scope. Oftentimes the compensation and the experience you are getting are similar, so you don't have anything to complain about. So in terms of growth, this is not a fiery startup situation, so it's rather slow. You are likely to be doing the same thing over and over again. So in terms of satisfactions, has the best form of job security, and it will have consistent salaries. But if you are working in an agency, sometimes you might not like the fact that clients have the final say over the products. Finally, if you are a UX designer working at big corporates, the biggest problem I think is you have very pinpoint specialization. So you work on a part of an aspect of an app, so not the entire app. And the mentality is mainly about the job titles and the compensation, a good work-life balance, etc. And for the growth potential, you can climb the corporate ladder and become a design leader in the company, but it's going to be very competitive. In terms of satisfactions, you are going to be very well paid, usually have very good work-life balance, but your impact on a product can be very small. And there's also one part where you work on your own business. You are wearing a UX designer's hat. So in this case, you will have to do everything. But the satisfaction is you are your own boss. You can design anything. You can learn anything. So I am not going to talk a lot about this area. So if you're just getting started, I think these information are helpful for you to decide what you essentially have to do as a UX designer in a company. Thank you very much. Let's stay connected. Please subscribe and see you next time.